It's a Shambukas podcast coming to you from a secret location in Cork City with Enya
and Owen
as your host.
and sometimes Jade.
Sometimes Jade. Hey lads, welcome back to the Shambukas podcast, episode 23.
Episode 23.
We got it wrong. We recorded another episode a while ago. That's why we're in the same clothes. We're not dirty scrubs. But, no hate if you are, but we thought it was episode 23. It's like it's going too fast, isn't it?
I don't even know what episode I said last episode.
Last episode you said it was episode 23.
What did I? All right.
Yeah, it's a blur. Can we blame you for it? So
Yeah, I'll take it.
We'll all give Owen the blame. So it's our Thursday episode, so we have a special guest. Today we have the amazing Jade Foley. I'd say a lot of you know her. You know of Jade, didn't you?
True, you.
Because I watch her on Instagram in bed.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but Jade's such a lovely girl. She's so nice. I think I followed her for a long time. I think anyway. So hi Jade, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, and yourself?
Good. Do you want to give everybody a quick introduction?
Okay, so I'm Jade Foley and I'm a makeup artist / model. I kind of blew up on TikTok during lockdown, so I currently have around 41,000 followers. So that's where we're at right now.
Fair play.
Thank you. And I started modeling because of that account, because my current manager found me on TikTok and she didn't believe I was from Cork, so she texted me on makeup account chant my arm. It wasn't even a modeling agency at the start, it was a events agency. So I was hired as a makeup artist at the very beginning, and then it turned into modeling, and that's where we're at right now.
Very good.
Oh my God, I didn't know any of that. And I actually think a lot of people who watch you now, because a lot of people who watch you in particular will be seeing this, like, I'd say a lot of people don't know that. Isn't that mad how things can fall into
something else? Yeah.
Just how things can, if you go with the flow, things will go perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, that
things
way.
Will come your way, like, I mean.
Jeez, that's incredible. And 41K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just read the other day, I was like, oh my God.
That's mad. I do a thing sometimes whenever I'm getting views or whatever, I'd say, like, do you know, because sometimes people think, like, I don't know, like a few hundred people small, but I say, like, imagine that amount of people in front of you. But I'd say you can't even imagine 41,000 people in front of you.
That's a lot.
Mad.
So we're going to go on to the first question there now, Jade.
Yeah.
So I know you're coming on today to share your mental health experience. At what age did you notice your mental health was suffering? And what did you notice?
Okay, so I kind of started in first year. So I got my very first panic attack in first year, and it was because I told a girl about not to be very, very serious straight away, but I told her about my past, my sexual abuse when I was younger, and she argued with me one day, and because we're first year, she decided to say, I'm going to tell the whole school your secret, because I wasn't telling anyone. So I passed out, had to go to hospital because I literally passed out for that long. And then I started to get really bad anxiety for things, because what happened was, what I thought was him, because I hadn't seen him in years, like I was younger, you know. I thought I saw him in the car because there was this weird man staring at me through a car.
Right.
And I got flashbacks. So I got very, very intense flashbacks. And I had PTSD from that moment, because my whole childhood, it kind of was just in the back of my head, but I didn't know anything. I didn't care, and I didn't really pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I saw him, every single thing that ever happened went into my head, and I remembered it vividly. So I had really bad anxiety from that point onwards. And then in second year, my nan passed away and my only friend left school. So then everything just kind of snowballed after that.
There you
know?
go.
Yeah.
That's so mad. Like, we had Jamie on as well, and there was sexual abuse. And I think a lot of like that, like you just said there, Jade, like, what's the word for it when you kind of
subdue
it and stuff like that, and then something can happen and it just all comes back. Like, even now, like, I've shared my story now of being kidnapped before. I always bring it up as relevant to other conversations. And this woman now, I can't even remember what she looks like really I can't. But whenever I'm in town, I get very high anxiety over it. It's really crazy.
Yeah, it's like small places now and stuff like that. Like, I go to college in Bishopstown, but it happened in Bishopstown. So anytime I'm passing there, then it's just like, it gives me anxiety. But I don't actually pass the actual place, but I did recently to find my bus. So do you know the 201? Do you know that bus?
Yeah, I do.
So that bus would take me now directly to my gaff. So if I was going on that bus, it would take me right there. And I couldn't find it because it's not outside the college where I get off. So if I get in the 201 from my house to go to college, it gets off the college, but the bus stop is at Wilton. So I had to find it on maps. And as I was walking there, I ended up passing the entrance to the estate. And for the first time ever, I didn't feel anxiety.
Oh,
good.
how nice is that? Yeah, I was
Yeah.
actually, that was very recently. Now, what happened to me was by the train station, like the flats there. And I remember, I think I told Owen it happened by the train station, like, and we were walking to the train station, and I could feel that he was like kind of waiting for me to kind of go, like, whatever, because I had permissive belief that I would go weird, you know, that way. And it's mad how like self-growth can bring you to the stage where you can actually handle situations, you know.
Yeah.
You probably felt a bit proud of yourself, like being in that spot and then like not getting those, you know, bad feelings. Like
it did, because it's taken me a while, because I had such a massive fear of just men in general and just walking past men. Now I still do, because it's, you know, anything can still happen. It's not like that will ever go away because of the way life is right now. But I can now walk past men and not feel like I'm going to have a panic attack. I can actually like sit down and talk to a lad, like, you know, not feel anything like that there's anything going to happen to me. But walking that area when I've not passed it like that in so long, like walking past it, it's just, it was weird. I actually thought I was gonna crying, but I didn't, and I was like, I'm actually okay, I'm actually fine. You know,
that's huge. Like, do you know what, men can actually be a bit scary though. I'm not about men, like how we perceive men, because I was in an all-girl primary school, and like even fellas, and like I was never sexually abused or anything, and I would still have been like, oh, there's boys, and I can't imagine the added stuff to that. Like it must have, because I know you've dealt with it now, like, but it must have felt like you were just in this little bubble, like, do you know what I mean? It must have been very scary.
And one thing as well, considering I'm on the podcast, is like, I want to like bring light to something as well. Like, people always had like a weird look on their face when I ever told them I was a virgin up until the age of 19, which was literally last year. Around this time last year, I actually lost my virginity for the first time, and I've only had sex like twice, really. And that's usually that's after twice. It's not because, you know, I was scared or anything like that, but I think that situation definitely did rob me of that feeling, and definitely did rob me of, you know, the whole wanting to try things, and it definitely does set you back. And it's very hard as someone like me, and I say a lot of other like survivors, because I wouldn't call us victims, we're survivors, you know, to kind of indulge into that kind of life and that world, because it's so, you associate it with pain and with trauma. You don't associate with that. And I'm still trying to get over that. Like, that's something I'm still trying to overcome. But it is kind of hard. But at the same time, you know, I'm still proud of myself to be able to say no when I don't want to do it. You know, I have that kind of,
you should, because it's scary. Like that's very like, see, I've never experienced that. So even you talking about that, like, and all I can do is imagine that, like, and that is so hard, because like, what do they say? Like, even on programs on TV, it's like, on entertainment, it's all like about sex being fun and stuff like this. And for some people like you, it's nearly a constant trigger, and especially when you get to the age when everybody's doing it, it's like, oh, I'm too scared. And do you know, you said a lot of people look at you funny when you said you were a virgin last year. I have a friend in particular, I'm not going to name her now because she'd be embarrassed, like, but I wouldn't be embarrassed obviously because it's not me, but I think she was a virgin until she was 21. And I remember I was like, go on, girl, get out there, you know, but there's more to it than that. And I should have thought of it back then, you know, that way.
Yeah. And I think some people as well, like, they feel ashamed because they're late bloomers. Like, for me, I definitely am a late bloomer. And another thing as well, is it's very hard as well in the modeling industry to be not really sexually adventurous, because a lot of it is selling sex, you know, not in the sense that like you have to sell your body or anything like that. It means like, you know, you have to be sexually, you know, attractive, like, you know, you look certain way and stuff. And I think that's very hard as well for me to overcome. So when I first did my lingerie shoot, I was so stiff. But and my mentor Chloe and Gio, oh my god, amazing. They taught me everything I know. Like, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without them. Genuinely, I was saying the day I died, genuinely, they've helped me so much with confidence. Because Chloe was in the same boat with, like, you know, not having confidence. She done Miss Bikini. That was the first time she ever done like modeling, and now look at her. She has her own agency and everything. Like, it's amazing.
That is so crazy,
mad, actually,
isn't it?
So true. So I want the next question there. When you were young, did you have a lot of mixed or different cultures or other background friends, or most people around you white?
Everyone's around me white. I
Wow.
thought I was the person my color alive, really. I had no one around me that was my color. And what was weird is that when I was growing up, I obviously didn't know about it until kids started calling me monkey, like the N-word. I'm not going to say it because it's not what I say on live. I was just called a load of different things to the point I actually associated like being a bad child with being from Africa. You know, that's how bad it got. And parents, I have to myself, because it would be very hard for my mom to do it because she was the only person around with a black child, so she couldn't do it herself. So I would, at the young age, go up to the parents and be like, your kid is calling me this, and they'd be going in the house laughing the fact that they're getting given out to for saying the N-word and stuff like that. And it never changed until eventually
So the parents would be laughing.
No, the kids, but the kids didn't care, like.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where I actually just kicked the shit out of one of them, and they all left me alone at that point. It worked.
Fair enough, yeah.
That's what you got to do. Do you know what now?
Stand
And
up,
look,
yeah, for yourself.
it's a horrible thing to say, but this was my truth. Like, I know people talk about racism in Ireland that I now know is a thing. But I have two nephews, they're from Cape Verde, and they're mixed race, right? They're Cape Verdean and Irish. And they came over here, I think 2 years ago. And before that, I didn't see them a lot. You know what I mean? And I think I was childminding, and my nephews were with the child I was childminding, and the child started singing like Indian songs to my nephews, like trying to make, do you know, like it was a racial thing. And then another time in the park, I think a person called some older child called the monkeys, and like,
it's horrible, like,
we
and
were
it's
white though, so we wouldn't see that. We wouldn't see it at all. It was only I would have never known or experienced it myself if I wasn't with my nephews. And the chills it actually gives me talking about it, it's just so disgusting. Like, people don't believe that there's racism in Ireland.
Yeah, I know. And like even the whole like concept of like racism and everything, it's absolutely so ridiculous.
Oh, it's a joke.
Because all it is your pigment is darker in your skin than mine. Do you know what I mean? It's such a stupid thing
ridiculous
to even be talked about, or like, do you know
I'd
what I mean?
say, Jade, you know, where did it start from? Where did racism even originate from?
I think it's just basically when countries started being colonized, people that were trying to take over these countries, so like England and all this type of thing, they thought that they were superior because they had more supplies, more resources and things like that. So they felt that they were more entitled to the land than the people who were originally there. So then they started treating them like shit because they had better weapons, better resources to take over a land than the people who were originally there. So then they had some sort of superior complex than the people who were living there, and the people had to kind of surrender because, or else they were all just gonna die, like, basically. So it's kind of like, I don't know all the history of it, but that's like what my understanding of it is. And then the N-word actually used to be used in Black culture. I'm going to give you two little terms and how to explain where they came from. So I'm going to explain half-caste, I'm going to explain the N-word. So the N-word originally was used as a way to address in the community of Black people one another as kings and queens and stuff. And then when they went into being slaves, the masters would mock them and call them that, be like, oh, you think you're this, and they start using it as a way to mock them. And it's then nowadays they're trying to take back that word and use it as a way that they would use again before as addressing one another. But now people that are white are trying to take that and be like, why can't we say it though? Do you know?
I understand. I never understood that.
And now half-caste is one half-caste is one I only recently learned. So basically back in the day, if a Black person and a white person made a child, what they would do is they would marry off that child off to white people and cast out the colour to get rid of it. So that's why the term half-caste.
And colour is beautiful.
And caste means pure. So it means half pure as well. So it's like another term that's really bad. Yeah. But saying that the Black part that in you is impure, but the white part isn't.
So like half-caste, if you say somebody's half-caste, that's actually rude. Term, that's so bad. And I never knew that. And I'd say so much people listening now never knew that. But it shows like, why aren't we taught this shit in school? Like, I actually called, I'm sure I said it there. I don't know. I'm sure I always call my nephews half-caste. And I never knew that was a bad thing. And now I'm just like, why haven't I been told? Like,
like, I wouldn't personally take offense to it, but now that I know the history behind the word, I don't want to use it as a way to call myself that, you know?
Yeah. It's understandable, yeah.
It's crazy.
And obviously then, like, growing up in terms of school, like you said, you were the kind of only, like everyone around you was white, basically. Like, was school then the same way as well?
I don't feel I was ever excluded because of my colour in school, because, you know, everyone liked my curls and things like that. I never felt different. I had two best friends and they never treated me differently because of my colour. I grew up with one of them. But the thing about what was really, really weird is that I learned after a while that children and people in general would pick on you for practically anything. So racism is like discrimination against your colour and hatred for your colour. But then my friend got discriminated against for her eczema. You know, her
They'll
whole
pick
body.
something, yeah.
Yeah, it could be anything,
She got it worse than I did, because she had eczema and it was all over her body, so she had really dry skin. So they called her granny hands and things like that, and it was really horrible and it was really disgusting to see. So the two of us were always targeted in that way. So at least I had someone with me that was like, you know, had something similar, you know, to make me feel alone. It was both the skin thing that was discriminated against, but the thing that I hate to admit is there's also such thing as pretty privilege, and I hate to admit it, but I do fall into it as well. And light skin privilege, you know, I'm not that dark, and I do acknowledge them because obviously I'm a model first of all, and I am in the public eye, and I do get compliments and stuff, and I'm not going to deny them, or I'm not going to boast about them either. I'm just going to simply state it. But they never discriminated me too much as well, or too much hatred, because one kid actually came up to one day and said, if you were white, you'd be really pretty. Do you know? A kid actually said that to me. I remember that stuck with me forever. It goes, why does the fact that I'm not like white change the fact that I'm pretty and stuff?
I'm smiling just because how could somebody say that? Like, do you know, like that makes no sense.
Yeah.
If someone's pretty, they're pretty as they are. Like, that's like me saying, you know, oh, you'd be very pretty if you had very long hair. It's like, what are you saying that for? Like, do you know, that's so ridiculous. You were talking there about pretty privilege.
Yeah.
I never knew that was a term, and I think I have experienced that a lot as well. Do you know, security, like my way of it now, do you know, security guards, they just let you through the door or stuff like that, isn't that? Is that what it is?
Going into nightclubs and stuff like that, like, you know, you get the girls go in and stuff like that. Security guards leave the girls in and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's another thing as well. I only saw it there like literally last night as a statement. It's like, you being weird and you being creepy, it depends on how attractive you are. Isn't that so?
Oh my!
Makes, doesn't it? It does.
Yeah, all right. Everyone now who's listening, right? Just visualize someone who's creepy, right?
Like those like pricks, there are lads that get away with being pricks because they're good-looking lads. But then if there was some not as good-looking, they would never get away with that. They wouldn't even get a chance to be like that. Do you know what I mean?
That is so true. And then if you visualize someone who's weird, be someone who'd be a bit creepy, you do actually think it's someone. I'm thinking of, I don't know. I'm thinking of a horrible. Like it's horrible that I'm even thinking like that. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, her privilege definitely does exist, because like there's some things that, you know, people get because they're pretty that other people wouldn't get. Like, you know, like on TikTok, for example, it's so obvious. Like people who are white and things like that, and just really pretty, straight T, everything, they'll always get the views and things like that. And then there's people who are content that actually are funny, they're creative and stuff, would even get close to that because they're not as pretty.
Wow.
But
I don't do TikTok. I couldn't. Like, I'm too bad with my time.
YouTube and everything, like, you know.
Yeah, could be anything, any social kind of media, like.
Yeah, when I'm actually thinking about it now, and it really actually is that way, which is crazy. It's as if there must be something psychological to that we like look
apparently the psychology about it is that people tend to trust someone more when they're more attractive. There's more trust within them, you know. You'd be more inclined to kind of like consider them a good person because of their looks. That's kind of like the term.
That's weird. Do you know what that reminds me of? Do you know, like serial killers like Ted Bundy? Do you know, everyone would say, oh, he's really handsome and stuff like that. So maybe that's why he was like so good at what he did. Like,
like Jade said, oh, he's not creepy. He's just a little bit weird.
Yeah, he's just a bit weird.
And it's like, no, he's handsome, but he's a creep. Do you know? It's madness. There's so much mad stuff to it. Like,
okay, I like in terms like you're on a couple of like platforms. Now you're on TikTok, Instagram, and stuff like that. Like, have you experienced like, mean racist messages in your comments or anything like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Someone literally was on my podcast, not my podcast. Sorry, I don't have a podcast.
You're fine.
On my live.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Oh my god, yeah. A few days ago, someone literally was like, "What are you doing blackface for?" And I was like, "Are you taking the piss? Like, how can I do blackface? Like, what?" Because I was doing my makeup, and they're like, "What are you doing blackface?" And I was like, "What the fuck?" Then I had someone. I made a video about it. You probably saw it. It was a funny video when I replied back to someone's racist comment saying, so I put up a video. I was in a house. I was in my house or something. I was just making a video, and they were like, "You don't belong in that house because it's for white Irish people, and you're not white, so you shouldn't have that house." And I made a whole video just giving them my house tour, taking the piss.
We love that, didn't we?
I thought that was one of the funniest videos I've seen in a long way. It was so funny. Like, I was just getting laughing at it.
And TikTok let it go up. It let it go up.
Oh, for God's
Really?
sake. Would it be, and they'd say they let the comment there, like, typical.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask you? Would it be fake pages that would give you like the abuse and hate? Or would some people actually do it from their own page?
No, some people actually do it from their own page because they have chests to do it.
Yeah.
Some people are saying that rude, like
I always thought like trolls, basically that's what they are, and like you always click on the picture and it's like just like a random photograph of a lion or a cartoon or something as their profile picture, and it's like they're so weird. I'd love to like do like anatomy of a fucking
a mad
troll.
Yeah,
like who's
very anyone who's trolling anyway, they can't be happy and fulfilled. It's impossible. Like, if you common hate, there's something wrong with you. Like, there has to be.
Because they enjoy seeing someone react to something that they said. Do you know?
Yeah.
So when I was
like a narcissism thing.
So when I was a child, as children, you like to do like things that are bold, kind of a thing. So it's kind of like the adrenaline kind of a thing to do really shitty comments in someone's comment section just to get reaction or just to fight with people because they like drama, they like reactions, they like getting on people's bad side to see how they will react. And the whole purpose of what you're supposed to do with someone online is you don't react because then they will keep coming in. Like, I was on a live recently, literally the other day. I still had a bad day, and it was the first time I had literally comment after comment, just really, really shitty comments to make me feel even worse. Like, really,
the same person though.
No, just so I actually ended up just ending the life because I was starting to tear up because I was having a really bad day, and then I got really bad news after that. So
I was just about to ask you that, like, how would that affect you getting stuff like that?
Oh, normally I don't. So I'm just like, they don't know me. They don't know nothing about me. All they see is just what I put up, and like they're just trying to get a reaction and raise out of me. So I'm just like they don't know me and I don't know them. So why would their comments affect me?
Did it used to affect you, or straight away did you have the mentality of you don't know me?
Oh no! Oh, it did affect me before. Oh, I'd be up all day and night thinking about some comments. Like, one person, actually, it was multiple comments about my eyebrows before. Used to get to me because I was just like, I really like my eyebrows. I didn't know I had an issue with my eyebrows, and I thought they were lovely, And I then eventually just saw there was actually a lot of people comment on it. So I was like, you know what? How about I find the criticism within the fucking shit and adapt it to what I'm doing. So I made my eyebrows thinner. I didn't love it. It was grand. So then I found a happy medium where now my eyebrows are like this, Because I look back at my now and I'm like, okay, now I understand why people were saying things about my eyebrows. I still like them that size, but I definitely improved on how I did them now. So that's when it comes to online, you have to learn how to take criticism and also just like filter out the hate.
And at the same time though, there's a nice way to say things. Like, there was a girl in particular I have on social media, and she put up something, I don't know, she said she wasn't eating she was starving through her breakfast and lunch just to be able to have this certain dinner. And I was like, oh, that's toxic diet culture, I was like, oh, I hope a lot of people don't see that. So I commented and I said, I hope you don't think this is, I'm trying to be negative or abusive towards you. I'm just letting you know, like, that's, if someone said that about your eyebrows, you wouldn't be as up all night thinking about it. But it's the judgment. It's like, why do they feel the need to judge you? Like,
they're basically projecting how they feel onto you. So I've learned this over a while. So let's say when I used to be jealous of people before, right, what would happen is you become hateful because you secretly want something that they have, so you don't have it, and you don't like the fact that they have it, so you try and find other things that are flaws or whatever. And it's also kind of like a thing where, like, if you saw someone doing something really bizarre that you would never do yourself, you kind of laugh, you kind of react to it, you kind of be like, oh God, I could never do that, and you kind of like mock them and stuff and judge them. That's you projecting how you feel onto them because you can't have the confidence that they have. you know?
Yeah, like you done that with Chrissy Teague, remember? And I kind of said that thing. Remember that thing? You were like, "Oh, I would never handle that like that." That is so true. I think I remember a psychologist talked about that. How that it's actually projection. And was it just like, obviously, because people are idiots, like the abuse continued and they kept being negative. Did you just learn to put up just to deal with it, or did you have to do things in particular to be able to deal with it better?
Yeah, did you like when you got those comments, did you like delete them straight away, or would you leave them there and stuff as well?
I always just fucking block them.
Yeah.
Dead right.
Argue me back when they're blocked, like.
Yeah, that's true.
At the end of the day, right, people may call me like, "Oh, don't react to them." I'm just like, I'm not reacting. I'm not even going to let them try do it again, because it's just like, it's not affecting me. It's just, I don't want to give them the power that they think that they have by commenting this stuff. So I just block them, because it's like, I don't want negative energy on my page. Like, if anyone is a follower of mine, I want my followers to be good people, like reflections of not even me, but sort of have the same morals and values as me if they're my followers and things. Like, I'm not going to even call them followers. I'm going to stop people that support me, you know? And like, a lot of people that follow me are absolutely amazing. I have literally the best, like, people that are on my Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, so supportive, so lovely, really, like, you know, kind to one another and stuff. And people are very respectful, because they see me talk, they see how I always talk and give like kind of like valuable lessons that I've learned myself to stuff on that and on my Instagram. I'm always talking about things I think could improve other people's mentality about things, and people actually do listen to what I have to say as well, you know. And it's not like I'm doing it to kind of say I'm a role model and things like that. It's just like, if I've learned something, you know, I want to share. I don't want to keep it to myself, you know. What's the purpose?
Exactly.
You know?
And I suppose I asked you a question there, but I suppose we'll get to it in a while when we're speaking about self-growth. I suppose the more self-growth someone does, or the more they grow on who they are as a person, the less those stuff would affect you anyway. I suppose they just went hand in hand, really. Like,
yeah, definitely.
It's madness, isn't it?
So we'll just go on to the next question now. So this is going back to the blackfishing, actually, from earlier on.
Oh, blackfish.
Blackfishing.
Oh, yeah.
So explain blackfishing and how extreme does a white person have to go to blackfish? As in, a lot of people think black women say any women that wears fake tan or braids blackfishing, which ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
That's what media feeds us. So like, how far do they have to go to be considered blackfishing?
There's a girl I saw on Instagram, and I thought that she was mixed race or black. Came onto her page, scrolled down to the very end, she was white, completely white. And it's basically, blackfishing is where you pose as someone who is of black descent on your social medias, online, and you profit off of it. Like, you know what you're doing, you're profiting off of it, because you're getting these brand deals, you're getting, you know, a lot of things like sent your way based off of the fact that, like, you might get like natural hair care products when that's not your natural hair, do you know?
Right. Yeah.
Or you do such dark tan that is, if you literally cropped up the face, you would think it's someone who is black, and then you're getting tanning products and you're selling that off, and you're like promoting the ideology that this level of darkness is okay. And I mean, like, there's people who will go like 3-5 shades darker than me. Like, I think my shade doing tan is alright. Like, I'm mixed race, I'm lighter than normal mixed race people. I think it's okay to be my color, you know, if you are doing tan, but like, just don't go to the extremes with it, where like you are actually like 5 shades darker than me, where you could pose as someone who was black if you just took out your facial features and things.
Yeah.
And like doing the whole like huge lips and like the braids, and like the braids aren't like the issue at all. I mean, like, everything combined in one, you know? If you're like braids, the lips, like big boobs, big ass, the kind of the black person body, everything, you're profiting off of what black people have naturally, and you're posing as someone who is kind of black, essentially. And
I understand that now, because like Marley, my sister-in-law, my nephew's mother, sometimes she'd braid my hair, you know, and I'd always have had, because we're not educated and stuff like this, which isn't my fault, like, and it's hard to find the right education on it and stuff like that, because it's not taught to us. And like, I actually used to think, like, if I got my hair braided or something, I'd be like, oh, are people going to judge me or whatever if you put on color, if I put on fake tan? But it does make a lot of sense. Like, of course, there is girls now, and you'd see them, and like, they've the full head of box braids, they've the extra dark tan on, they have the lip liner done, and it's like, what are you doing? Like,
Mm.
so it's fine if it's one, but it's when they're all
Together.
combined together. That makes a lot of sense now. Did you know that now?
No, but
No.
yeah, it makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, and it's very reasonable.
Another thing as well is the biggest issue of it is they turn things that Black people have and is part of the culture and it's just part of their natural bodies as a trend, something that's cute and cool and funky, like, you know, braids with the pink hair and stuff like that. Oh, that's cute and trendy, when it's like, no, it's actually part of the culture and a protective hairstyle alongside that. But there's people who will do it then and they appreciate the culture and that's why they get the braids, which you would be one of those people. Like, you're not doing it to appropriate it, you know. Whereas people who appropriate is where they like, how do I say it? It's like taking, oh, I don't even know how to explain that one now. Culture appropriation is just so, it's like basically taking us like, okay, let's take Oriental style clothes and stuff like that. So Japanese culture, they try and turn that into a cute little trendy little skirt or whatever for the Western culture, you know? That's another huge issue. And not giving credit. Just calling it like a cute style instead of calling it he's inspired.
That actually does make sense, doesn't
like,
it?
Yeah, like not explaining the origin of something, like, so like, you know, the way there's all different kinds of, you know, traditional gowns and stuff in Africa and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like, if you're wearing that and, you know what I mean, you're not like giving props, will explain it like, oh, this is an African gown, it's from, you know, this place, like,
yeah, you know? Like I'd wear some of the Moroccan gowns that I've got whenever I was over in Morocco and stuff. I'm very close to people over in Morocco to the point where I call some of them family, like, but it's like I wouldn't just throw it on and just and not, do you know what I mean? You'd want to tell people, oh, like, it's Moroccan, it's lovely, like, do you know, give it credit where credit's due. I'm trying to think of an example for listeners, like Irish listeners who can relate to it.
For Halloween.
What is it?
Dressing up as a Native American for Halloween, that's culture appropriation.
Yeah, I was just thinking that actually as well.
That now is mad, because it's like a thing like I said there, sorry, there's so much to it. It's hard, you know, when your brain has all these thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I talked about and Jade talked about the racism she's dealt with and the racism I seen towards my nephews. And then people will dress like they're African American for a night. And it's like, why are you doing that for? Like, do you know, you're not dealing with what comes, do you know what I mean? With the harshness, it's not fair at all.
Yeah. There was something as well, like, it kind of annoys me. Like, you know, in America, obviously you have the Native Americans, and then you have African Americans, and then you have the Americans. But like, why aren't they technically called European Americans? Since all white people are from...
They are Euro-Americans. They actually are. They dress them as Euro-Americans, yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
That's
so you thought of that and actually is a thing.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
I'd never thought of it.
Not everyone does though, but yeah. They are Euro-Americans. That's what they'd be called.
Yeah. And it should be nearly, do you know, people are saying, do you know, African Americans, it should be European Americans, because the African Americans and the what is it? What are the Native Americans? They were the true Americans anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I got bothered about that, like, because they have Native Americans and then they have African Americans. I never knew they actually call them European Americans, like white people, like, you know what I mean?
And you know, you talked about there, Jade, about people dressing up as African Americans for like Halloween. One program I love, and I'm not a person of color, you know what I mean? So I don't understand certain things. And I remember I used to love the program Little Britain. Right, I really liked that program, and it was I used to watch it like once every month. It was a thing of mine, and then I remember it was taken off Netflix over the I think, I can't think of the actor now. Was it David Williams?
Right.
He done a blackfacing scene, and I was nearly bothered about it. You know what I mean? But see, I don't understand. You know what I mean? That's the thing. We can't, like, for a while. I can hear you. You're fine. I was dealing with that, and I was annoyed by it and stuff. But like, I don't have a right to be annoyed with it. Do you know what I mean? And that's the truth of it.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we're just gonna have
if it gets you.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can go on this.
Oh yeah.
No, you're fine.
Sorry, we're gonna have a break there just to introduce our sponsor, I suppose.
Our amazing sponsor.
Yeah. Do you want to take that away?
Yeah, so MT Fitness is our sponsor. He sponsors everything from us getting a laptop to our mics. We wouldn't be able to be where we are now without MT Fitness. He's a personal training place in Blackpool,
Cork. New gym opening in January.
Fierce exciting.
And also he's brought in his MTID, so have a look into that on Instagram at MT Fitness Cork.
What's that about?
It's just his new little thing, like.
Is it amazing?
It's amazing, absolutely fantastic, like.
That's funny that you said that.
Yeah, you'll have to go onto his Instagram, have a look into it.
Look, he's down at MT Fitness on Instagram. Just look at his testimonials. That's what we always say, isn't it?
They speak for themselves. What does Joseph say?
Oh.
Judge him on his losers because he has so few.
Don't judge him on his winners, judge him on his losers because there's so few or something like that. But yeah, lads, he's amazing. And like I always say, people who are looking to start their fitness journey or people who, I don't know, with lockdown, they're the fitness place they have at the moment, their membership's done or whatever, just think about starting up with Mark because he's extremely humble, like the humblest beginnings. He's had his own weight loss journey. There's no judgment there. No matter who you are, you'd be more than welcome in there. And another thing I always said as well, I used to not like gyms, you know, when the fellas are all muscly and they're all looking in the mirrors and I'd be going, you know what I mean? Oh, you know, it's not like that in there at all. It's just humble and it's really amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you're interested anyway, you can get in contact with him on Instagram, MT Fitness Cork.
Do you know his number still off there? Do you want to give it a go?
085734657.
Like that is so impressive. See, Owen's friends with Mark for years. What age were you friends since?
Oh, like 12.
12.
Yeah.
So like, and I remember, like, you don't even know your own number off here, do you?
No, I do. I'm not that bad.
One day we didn't have the message up, and out of nowhere he just done the whole number. I was like, what
impressive.
Yeah, but that's good memory. But yeah, just check out his testimonials at MT Fitness, and I know you'll be glad to start with.
Let's get back to our guests now.
Yeah, sorry, Jade.
Do you want to continue with the questions there? Because I'm after getting dazzled.
Are you?
I can't read yet.
Yeah, see, you don't usually do the questions.
No.
It's actually quite heavy duty, isn't it? Where are we? Oh, yeah. So I talk on my Instagram, I talk a lot about flow activities. It's something I'm really big into. I don't know if you've heard me talk about them, Jade, but I'd say for you, makeup is a huge hobby for you, and it's nearly a career now. Where did that kind of blossom from?
Okay, so I was really, really big into drawing and art throughout my childhood. I literally started drawing at the age of 3. Wow. So I've been drawing years, and I loved art in school and I loved it so much, but the thing about it was that it was very like time consuming and I just fell out of love for it, but I didn't want to give it up fully. So then when I discovered makeup and I started getting all the basics down, I was like, oh my God, you can add color to the eyes, you can do a load of different things. Then I discovered you can draw on your face using makeup. And then I just learned all these different ways to do makeup and then just blossomed into what it is now. Wow. So that's kind of where it came from.
Because makeup really is an art, like it fully is. And did you do any courses or would you be a freelance? Would you just been gone by your own experience?
I did a course at the very start of the year. Before lockdown, so I did a 12-week course for makeup, but that's just to get the qualification. I kind of had all the knowledge, I just needed the qualification. I needed to learn, like, you know, better client work and stuff. That was kind of it, but the course was brilliant. I don't know if it's around anymore, the Tiger Training Academy course.
It's not, I heard of them.
Yeah, now they have a brand, so they're kind of focusing more on the brand than the makeup anymore. I don't think they're doing the course anymore, but it was a brilliant course. Like, I loved it, you know, and I loved Sinead and stuff. It was a brilliant course.
Yeah.
But everything else though, like terms of like face paint and like body art and things like that, that is purely self-taught. I've really tried to watch, like I've been practicing myself with things and just thinking of ideas. So you probably saw the look of my wall.
You know, beautiful.
That's class.
So I done that on my face, then going down that way. That was my first one for TikTok and everything. Then the one that blew up on my account was this rainbow one. So it's like a rainbow hair and it was like coming down my mouth and stuff. And it done really well because I started this trend called these MUA diaries. So what I would do is I come on and I would talk through how I'm feeling through each stage of the makeup and being like, I don't think it's going to go well. Show the mistakes as well. show like it's not working out, because a lot of times my makeup was cracking, so it's like, oh my god, it's starting to crack. I had leaky eye in one video, it was just gone off, and then at the very end it would usually turn out fine, and then everyone's just like, oh, now the look is grand, you know. And that's what drew my page, is my diaries.
That's like cool. That's like nearly a moral, what's it called? Do you know those like moral stories? That's nearly like one of them, because like it's one of those things like with makeup, especially like we're going to talk about in a second, social media, it's huge, and most of the people on social media would only do like, because see the way there you said that at the start, like your skin, the makeup was cracking on your face and you had the watery, they'd be like, oh no, I can't post that, lap it. No, just the last little bit when it's perfect,
completely done,
you know. And that's what's so important, and I don't think a lot of makeup artists are doing that in particular, like.
No, because they don't, because the thing about it is that like if they look like they're doing a bad job, no one's gonna book them, whereas I don't really care about the bookings. I'm just like, I do it for fun, like, you know what I mean? Now for a while social media, when it started to blow up, it's a really weird thing how it happened. It just started to blow up out of nowhere, and every day I was waking up to a new 1,000 followers. Like every single day I was reaching a new milestone, and it just kept going and going. And then eventually it kind of like stagnated. It just kind of stays flat. And I then took it very personally. I was like, oh my god, is it my content? Is it because I'm not doing good anymore? I didn't understand that. I didn't understand there was an algorithm I had to do with, you know, taking breaks and stuff and not being consistent every single day, which is hard with makeup. If you're doing like dance videos and stuff, like you can do that every day, no problem. But like for me, makeup, it takes from like to do what I want to do, you know, it takes like a certain mindset that I'm not in every single day. And a lot of hours. It's not like I can whip it up in like an hour. Like it takes like at least, some looks would take me like 4 or 5 hours. Like, and I'm sitting down the whole time, not taking a break. I don't get up to eat. I don't take breaks in between. I just sit down and do it from start to finish, you know. Then you have to remember, I'm going from different platforms, because I'll go onto my Snapchat, I'll do a little bit of a talk through tutorial on there. But then to go to TikTok,
that now what she's talking about, I don't know how they do it. She's just on about going from different ones. Like, this is all I know now. Sorry that I interrupted. Do you ever see a TikTok now, right? And they'll have one part of their makeup done, and then they'll come to the next part, and it's like the same sequence of lyrics to a song. And it's like, how do you do it?
It takes practice. It's actually like, if you're an actual editor, you would have just filmed everything from start to finish and then edit it in later on and do all the editing later on. Whereas I have to do it as I go. So I can't really go back and re-edit anything if I passed it. I have to make sure it's perfect in that moment. So I take at least like 10-15 minutes to do one scene, like one little part, and then to move on, and then I go back into my makeup, but then to come back. And that's why I do a lot of transition videos now, because it's just easy to do from start to finish. I don't have to worry about that. But people don't like that as much on my page. They prefer me talking. All my talking videos do well. All of them, like literally all of them do so well. But they're very long to do, because you have to do it bit by bit, and you have to, like, either you do a voiceover at the very end, but you're still going to have to eventually come back to it, you know. It is kind of time-consuming. That's why it takes my whole day to do a makeup look, the whole day. And I have to certain time to post it as well.
I see, that's the thing, like, and what Jade just said there that I think is so important, something I've dealt with a lot, is whenever social media is having a quiet patch, anyone who's trying to get somewhere with social media, or even with a business, no matter what it is, everyone in their life has stagnant periods. That's it. Like, that's just the way it is. And the more you try and fight a stagnant period, the more upset you're going to be, because you can't fight it. And like Jade said there, what's it called again? The algorithm, like, that is a huge part in businesses and Instagram and stuff. And that's something that's like, there's a way to beat that that I don't even have a clue about. And just there that you said, Jade, about like how much time, because I know you enjoy doing makeup, like as you've said, and I know you enjoy the social media, but there's a lot of behind the camera effort and work there that people don't know about. Like, is that a huge part of it, like the social media? Is there a lot, has there been pressure with that? Like,
I remember when I deleted my Snapchat account, well, not deleted, but deleted everyone off my Snapchat account, and people don't realize before I'd done that, I had 6 social media accounts to take care of that I had to be actively on every day to have it go somewhere, you know. Maybe one of them I could have left go off, but at the same time I was still using it, you know. Whereas the rest, they all had to be used. I had to have something on my Snapchat stories every day. on both accounts, kind of keep it going. I was trying to use one of them for my fitness journey and just my everyday thing, and the other one for makeup. But my most views for story wise would be Snapchat. It come to around 2K, you know, and that's people text me after that, so I DM everyone back. So I text people back. Then I have my own friends that text back. Then I have people in my DMs asking me questions to text back on 2 Instagram accounts and 2 Snapchat accounts. Then I have my TikTok account where I have to post videos and reply back to comments. And then I have to post on makeup and modeling. But I have to edit them too.
So like that would affect anybody, wouldn't it? Really?
It's a lot.
Anyone's going to be affected. Like, and how has that affected you before?
I got very badly depressed and very I just wouldn't leave my bed at one stage, and then that's why I took a break. I was like, I can't physically leave my bed. Just the idea of it just gave me so much anxiety, so much like so it just clouded my brain so much. I was just like, I actually can't like do it. It's just, you know, when you have a lot to do, you just can't bring yourself to start it.
Yeah, it's like overwhelming.
Yeah, everything just got so overwhelming. I had to stop, and then eventually I went back to all my old videos and went back to all my old looks, and I was like, I want to go back to it. Like, I actually missed it, and I do love doing all those looks. So I came back to it on my own terms, and I'm slowly getting back into that rhythm. But like, I have to find a schedule that fits me well. So
yeah,
the thing with as well is my makeup and my main account, they can't be posted on the same day, as in like post wise, like photos, because I'm using one to promote the other. So if I put up 2 in the same day, they're not going to do the same. They're not going to do as well, because half of my people on one account will go to the other to help me out, and then the other will do, you know, vice versa. So I'd want the attention, because you have to think about a lot of things. And like, then I still have like a flood. Like you saw, I didn't text back for a while. I have a flood of still waiting to be texted back, because they just get so overwhelming to just think about replying back to everyone, because you get into a conversation, you know. And I like to talk to people. I don't like to leave anyone on red. I don't like to ignore anyone, but then I don't want to leave the chat open and then leave it and not go back to it. So I just wait, but then waiting piles it up.
See,
and
that's
just,
the
that's why I delete it.
Like I had my Instagram, my old Instagram, I think I had 3,000 followers or something, and now I'm down to my new page. I think I have less than 400, like, and the expectations there is to reply to people, it gets really heavy. And like, obviously it's the kindest, loveliest people texting you, but like you just said there, like I'd be so like, I really want to reply to the people who are watching me and whatever, because it's like, oh, they appreciate me and it's going to help me get here, it's going to help me do things, whatever. And then I'm nearly ignoring my friends. Like, it's a really hard thing. And I know people are experiencing it now with them, you know, the balance between home life and work life now with COVID. But like, home life and social media work is a whole new level thing, because your phone's always there, your laptop's always there, like your phone's always on the bedside locker.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
It's like you're never not working, like, it's
and
always
there's
there.
a huge expectation as well. Like, for example, I think my old account, it's just I couldn't get into it, whatever. And I already know that there's a lot of people think, oh, like, where's Enya gone? What happened to Enya? And now when people find me, like, they're like, oh, Enya, I was so worried. I thought something happened to you and stuff like that. And that was completely out of my hands. Do you know what I mean? So like, you feel like you've other people on your shoulder, and it can get really, really heavy, you know?
Yeah, and the thing about it as well, like, I already have like loads of people. I had like literally like 1,000 to 1,500 people on my normal Snapchat, and people just text me then, right? And I was always like, there's just some people I didn't even talk to that much, but would come into my DMs every so often, and it was actually really, really hard to delete everyone off of my Snapchat, because of the fact that I knew I was going to piss off people. People were going to take me. But I was like, you know what? If they actually care, they'll ask me about it. And if they actually want me to add them back, they'll ask me to do so. They wonder why, or else they just won't care enough and they'll only have something to bitch about instead. They don't actually care about being added. They just wanted the sake of being added, you know? And I literally only have like 20 people left on my Snapchat account. 20.
I'd say that's a huge relief as well, is it?
Oh, it is. But at the same time, like, if anyone at one point just, I don't talk to them at all, I will just delete them, because it's like, I have already a lot of people I have to talk to. And like, people have called me ignorant. Like, there's a group of people now that have been calling me famous celebrity, taking a piss out of me, saying, oh yeah, she thinks she's too good for all of us now and stuff like that because of the music video, all this kind of stuff. It's like, no, I don't think anything. You don't know me enough to say I think certain things. You don't talk to me first.
That's mind reading. That's a part of psychology that like you can't do. Like, they're mind reading, trying to think what you think, but like,
it's impossible.
who are they? Like, do they have a crystal ball? Like, you can't do that.
Like the same people would never have hung up me the last year that would be chatting, you know. And the same thing about it is like, I can't please everyone, and I need to please myself first. And that was my way of please myself. I've been wanting to do that for years. I've been wanting to take off everyone, but then I got so anxious about what people thought about me. That's where the whole confidence thing came. I had no confidence last year. So those same people would be like, oh, you were so much nicer back then. I was like, yeah, because I was trying to please everyone back then.
Yeah, because it was people pleasing. Like, of course you're going to come across nicer because you don't have a backbone. Like, that's
but
it.
I'm not. It's not that I've changed. I'm no longer a nice person. It's just I now have to do things that mightn't make everyone happy, and I have to just accept that I'm not going to make everyone happy. And I still try to make everyone happy. I can't do that.
Because while you're making other people happy, you can exclude your own happiness. And that's when people get sick. Like what you were saying there with the social media and stuff. You were doing so much posting, trying to stay on top of it to the point where it was actually scary. You know what I mean? And talking about that, you said there that your confidence was even lower last year. I know you talked about briefly at the start. How did you kind of get into modeling and stuff? And did you find a big pressure with that?
Yeah, because I was really anxious about my body. You probably know this now. You probably knew me back in the Facebook days, you know?
Yeah.
When I was posting about my body and stuff like that. Like, I've always struggled with my body. I thought by talking about it, it would, you know, help people to feel more confident in themselves, to know that I'm just a regular person too that has a slimmer body than normal, but like I still have stomach fat, I still have cellulite, I still have back rolls, I still have these things, yeah. But in the modeling industry, it's not like my other social medias, because my portfolio is my account and it's business this time. I can't just do that all the time. That's why I do that on my stories and on my highlights, because then I can talk about that. But when a business comes to my page and they see they want to work with me, they can't see my social media looking like, you know, my back rolls and things like that, because then they'll be like, oh, we won't book with her. And I know I shouldn't care as much, but at the same time, it's like, if I want to make a career out of it, I have to be smart. I still won't stop talking about it, but I will have to do it in some ways that are less obvious, you know?
Wow, that is a really hard aspect that I wouldn't have thought about. So like, it's the point, like you're dealing with confidence in your own way and you're starting to accept your body, but it's like, oh, I shouldn't post that now in my actual post, because if like a company gets onto me in the future, they'll see that and it's not what they want to see, which is mad. Like, it's really crazy.
Kind of what it is I'm exposing the modeling industry by showing I am a model, I can look skinny, but that's not really how I look all the time, because at the end of the day, people don't see it as this. As a model, your body is the product and you're selling the product, and the product has to be either the photographer's work, you know, the clothes and stuff. You can't look like yourself. No photo that's a photography photo is actually you, like, of your essence, because you're filtered, it's edited, it's designed to look a certain way, because the modeling industry as well it's kind of like it promotes like a certain idea that makes you feel like if you don't have certain things, you won't feel a certain way. So when it comes to beauty, makeup, everything, if you don't have certain products and things like that, you're not going to feel beautiful, you're not going to feel this kind of way. And like, I'm not trying to promote anything that's unhealthy either with my story. That's why if you see my posts and stuff like that, I'm like, look, this is what I look like every day either. Like, don't forget that part, you know? And yeah, those photos are technically still me, but at the same time, like, not 100%. And I think by talking about these things in my story, it might normalize these things, because people see my page and like, oh my gosh, she's this, she's that, oh my god, I want to be like this, I want to be that. It's like, no, I still sit in my bed having fucking share bags of hunky dories to myself. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm still that girl. But now I do have to be a little bit more cautious about what I do say and think, just in case I get on the wrong side of things and I don't do as well, do you know?
I just got so mindfucked there, because I've always had this thing about like modeling and why does it have to be photoshopped, and but it goes back to, what's it called again? When we put all our, like you said there, it's like to influence makeup and stuff. What's it called again? We think we need all the products. What's that called again?
Consumerism.
Like the way you explained that there, it literally put two and two together, that like a part of the modeling industry, it is like, you know, like models are like, they be Calvin Klein models, and they're to make you want to get that scent. And then, like we talked about, you'd be more trusting to someone who's prettier or whatever. So it's a huge thing, you know what I mean? And they can't just cancel that, because then stock numbers will go down and everything.
But that's it, like you see like a celebrity modeling a fragrance on the telly and you're like, oh, if Beyonce is wearing it, must smell nice. Like, do you know what I mean? It has to smell nice. So
or like, do you know,
I want to smell
Justin
like Beyonce.
Bieber?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Like, everyone now, and I'm not saying he's not unreal. That's not what I'm saying at all. But everyone thinks of Justin Bieber as, oh, he's unbelievable. Like, he'd never be edited or anything like that. And then for the Calvin Klein modeling, they gave him a bulge and muscles.
Yeah.
It's like they do you know, it's crazy. It's just, I think it's madness. You know what I mean?
Well, sir, like you have that thing in your head, like, you know, I think you said about the Kardashians or something. Do you know, they heavily edit their photos on Instagram or something. They should like literally have something down the corner saying, this is an edited photo.
That's
like,
fine.
you know?
But other than that, it really bothers me, because there's a lot of girls who look at those heavy, and it's fine now with smaller based people, but like with the Kardashians who have like companies and they have special editors to make, like, there's so much work that goes into it. It's like, will you say it in small writing that it's even edited? Because there's millions of people just wanting to look like you, and that's not even you.
Yeah, there's pages now that show that there's Instagram versus reality. They just have the actual photo and then the non-edited photo next to it, and it shows you a look. And I actually can't believe that people genuinely go into these editing apps and they will shape their bodies. Like, I'd never shape my body. Like, I've never made my ass bigger or my waist smaller. What's there is there. I just fucking pose and I suck in and do what I can. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's people that will go to these lengths because they've started with that ideal. They have to keep it up then. And that's the dangerous part then. If you start it, you can't really stop, because then you will get caught out and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I've done that before. Like, see, the thing is, I think how old was I? 15. And I have little dotty arms, whatever, and I have little chubby arms. I don't give a shit now. But before, now, I'd be wearing lovely clothes, whatever, and I'd be wearing a short top. And just because you could see my arm, look, do you know anybody? They put their arm like that, it looks bigger in size. That made me feel very strange. I used to edit it to make it smaller because I knew that other celebrities were doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just a crazy, vicious cycle, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why I talk about a lot of things in my story, because it's like, all right, they follow me for a while, look like, right, fair enough. They see what I do, they see the way I pose and stuff like that, that's fine. I wanted to come to my story then and actually see me for me. Like, it's my story. Like, why not share what I have to say, you know? Not everyone will watch it. Not everyone wants to watch it. They might just tap through it. That's fine. But there are going to be some people who will appreciate that. Like, I've had loads of DMs being like, thank you for talking about this, because whatever it would have been, because they're like, I actually feel a bit normal now. Like, recently now, a video of me showing off my stomach fat saying, good afternoon from me and my fat rolls, you know?
Yeah.
And like, thank you, that actually made me feel a bit normal right now. And it's like, yeah, because there's people who are literally like stick skinny, like they're skinny. They have stomach fat too. And you know as well, there's another thing as well, that I'm on a podcast there, so I'll talk to you in a second. But
that's so funny, actually. I just reminded me, people who are listening, my mom actually came in a while ago and I forgot to say it. So my mom came in and
she's probably on the other camera, actually.
Yeah, I think they'll actually see her. She came in with fucking Christmas wrapping and she just looked at me and I went like this, like, I just went, she goes, she just ran down.
Yeah, she's probably on YouTube now in a minute. But
that bit of fat for women, anyways, right above your uterus or whatever, that bit of fat, you can't actually get rid of it no matter how much you work out. It is protecting your uterus. You can't get rid of it unless you actually get it physically removed. But like, people, they be working out, they'll be like, why is that not going away? Because it's like that, you know, when you have a flat stomach that kind of comes out like that.
Yeah,
that's what it's to protect your uterus, and it's actually a very normal thing to have. Every woman has it.
I never knew that. That's actually mad. Talking about body positivity and stuff. Like, Jade, now you're quite body positive. And I know you said there you weren't always like that. How did you make the changes to become body positive?
I got really obsessed with comparing my body to everyone else's. So I'd see all these bodies and on Instagram, obviously. And I'd be like, why can't mine look like that? And then everyone around me in my school and stuff, they're all really skinny. I was like, why can't I be skinny? And then when I started to learn more about Black culture and started to learn more about, you know, my family's body sizes, like, everyone in my family has a different body size, but we all share certain elements of it. Like, do you know, like the big hips and like, do you know, kind of boobs and stuff like that. Like all my family has like that kind of pear-shaped body. And then my other side of the family, then they would have kind of the same. And I've just learned that that is my natural body. Why not just embrace it? You know, I can't wake up and be anybody else than what I already am. So I might as well just fucking embrace it, you know, because at the end of the day, yeah, I can pay to look something else. I can do what I can, but like at the end of the day, I can't go back and like be like, I want to do this. And I think everyone at work can understand, like, no one ever chose to have the body that they have. No one ever chose to have the facial, the hair color, the looks that they have. And some people just get lucky enough to have the money to change certain things. But you can't wake up in the morning and be white. You can't wake up in the morning and be black. You can't wake up in the morning and be like, you know, Lebanese. You can't wake up in the morning and be anything else other than yourself. So I'm just like, why can't I just learn to accept what I have, because it's not going anywhere.
And you know what you said there was really cool. You were actually saying it about, you were thinking about your bodies, your family's body types and stuff like that. And as you said that, I actually done that as well. And I'm gotten a lot more body positive, but I still would judge my body a lot. And whenever you said that, I actually started visualizing, you know, all the women in my family, their body types and stuff. And I was like, yeah, it's the same. Like, it's just my genes that I'm lucky to have, you know what I mean? Because I'm alive. What was I going to say to you as well, Jade? I know you have something to say on this as well. Do you know about certain brands and how they approach people with a small following?
Oh,
I know.
Oh, fucking hell.
Jade's getting triggered.
I
know it's coming.
I definitely will get grilled for this one because, sorry, no, there's just something on my fingers. I'm just taking off. I will get grilled for this one because it's technically the truth, but they don't want people to know about it. So people who have smaller accounts that are just starting off don't know things, right? That's just a fact. You don't know things. You don't know the ins and outs of things. You haven't seen a lot of things. I am one of those people still, right? But I have seen enough to understand, because I wanted to learn more. And then I started catching people out, and I'd be texting them like, this is not fucking right? I actually texted one person like, you're doing something that's disgusting. Like, don't be doing that. And they're like, have a good day, thanks. Like, cheeky, like just being rude back to me. So basically what they do is they'll contact you, and there's all these like robotic accounts that are made up by, like, you can pay for an account to promote your account. You know, you can have a bot promote your account. So what they'll do is they go into your DMs, or they go into your comment section, and it's always the second a post put up, because it's straight away, you know, you see it straight away, and they'll be like, oh, please DM this account because they want to work with you and collaborate with you. And you'll be delighted. Sure, you're like, oh, Brown's to collaborate with me. You've gone to the page, you think it's legit because they have 500,000 followers, right?
Yeah.
All of them are bought. You have to go into the tags and see who's been tagged, who's tagging their work and their products in their page. And it's usually people with like 2 followers, 3 followers. There are actual fake photos. They're not real accounts. And they're all there to make the page look good, to make it look legit, so that you, the consumer, who won't really think about it too much, will just buy their products and try to work with them. But what they'll also say to you is, now these are the fake ones. Now I'm going to actually go to the real ones after this. But the fake ones would be like, oh, you get 30% off, you'll be the ambassador for the brand, you'll do this and that, you get all these things, you get a code for your followers and things. But at the same time, it's like, who's actually going to buy the things that you promote? Like, you have to have some sort of name or some sort of like following for a brand to deem you worthy to promote their stuff, because they're not going to give someone without any sort of following any product, because who's going to actually buy them from that, you know?
Yeah.
They need to be profitable, which is the sad truth, but it's true, you know? I always get mine from TikTok. Like, I always get my promotions from TikTok. Obviously, I wouldn't get them from Instagram because I don't have enough. 10K is the starting point for the Instagram. I don't have that. But you'll also get smaller accounts then that you will know it's legit, because they'll say they're usually Irish or whatever, and there's people who've been like, oh, tagging them and stuff. But when it comes to real brands, like, I'm not going to say any names, but there's ones that are huge. They'll contact you and they'll lie, saying they put you on a PR list. Now, you'd be a small creator, like, you're not going to be a huge one, but you'd be small enough to fall for it. Now, take the free products, yeah, do whatever. But then they think that you will be sucked into it because you got free products, so you do what they'll ask you to do. So they'll ask you to run competitions for them. You're not getting anything. You're not getting anything out of that. You're just helping them, you know, because they're asking you to help them run a competition, you know. You think it's great because you're getting the title, you know, working with whatever brand. And then they won't put you on any PR list, because essentially a PR list is basically, you're on this list of people they deem, you know, who they like to get all of their products, any new launches, any events, anything, you get sent it, everything, right? Without paying for it, without paying for anything.
Yeah.
But what they do is they send you a few products, like just a small few things, just to kind of like make you feel good or whatever. You'll talk about it. You'll say that this brand is amazing. You're giving them free promotion, essentially. You make videos for them. You'll do competitions for them, like ads, basically. And they're profiting off of you for nothing. You should have been paid for that. You should have gotten at least, like some people, you can charge like €100 per post if you felt like it, you know, if you felt, and they're just robbing you because they sent you a few free products. Like if they give you free products, do one promotion on the story, a video or something like that, leave at that. Don't do more than that, because you are entitled to be paid after that, because know that the products are sent to you, that's not enough to cover everything else, you know.
Yeah.
And they're taking advantage of people with small phones because they don't think about it. They don't know these things, like, you know.
Yeah, see, I've gotten loads of those messages now.
Yeah.
Like you just said it, it'd be people with no like it'd be a bot for a bigger company. Go click on us and tell us if you're interested, whatever. And there's been a few times now I'd say, yeah, I'm interested, whatever. And they'd say, oh, here's our products, and it'd be a t-shirt that's 50 quid.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
but then
get out of here.
It's like as well, like I'd see them from Enya, like, and she'd be showing them to me, and I'd be reading through them. And it'd be like, okay, we want you to advertise our product, whatever. Here's like a 30% discount, and you have to.
They want you to buy it yourself.
They want you to buy it yourself, and then you take a photograph in the top, then, and then they put it on their page.
It's a joke.
It's crazy. Like they want you to buy the product. I mean,
and honestly, if I'm telling the truth now, the only reason I haven't done that sometimes, like I've never done it, but that's because I'm always skint. I never had the money to get the €50 top in first place.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? If I was loaded, it could have easily fell into not loaded. But if I had the spare money, I wanted to get that top, I could have fell down it.
Like, no,
easily.
But like the thing about me then as well is like I'm very careful about who I promote on my page, because I've learned very quickly that the second I put up saying I like something, everyone's after going off buying it. Now there's a certain brand that I'm not going to say the name just out of fairness. There's a certain brand that recently I've grown to absolutely adore. They're a very small brand. Like I don't know if they even have 1,000 yet, right?
Wow.
And they're Irish and stuff, but their products are cheap. They're so cheap and they're so good, you know. I was literally using a really, really, really well-known brand in comparison, and I literally scratched it off and I used the other brand, and I told people about it. And they gave me a code. I didn't know they're going to give me a code, but I'm telling everyone about this brand because I actually like it. I don't promote things I don't like. I don't work with brands I don't want to work with, and I don't take things if I don't feel like I'm going to use them or I don't want to talk about it, because at the end of the day, I want to be transparent with the people that do look at my stuff, because if I'm influencing them, let's say, to buy certain things, because at the end of the day, I'm not telling people to buy something, I'm like influencing them, and that means it's their responsibility then if they do buy something and don't like it, because I like it, you know.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't say I like something unless I was saying this, like if I didn't like it, unless I was saying this is a paid advertisement, you know, because ads are off.
I have you.
I would never, and I would always say if it wasn't an ad, but I've never had to do an ad yet, but anything I do talk about saying I like it, it's usually because I genuinely do like it. I haven't taken anything yet, any sort of payments for an ad yet, because I haven't really, you know, been getting that many brand deals or anything like that. But yeah.
It's mad. And as well, like I can't remember now. I don't even know what person it is, but it's a social media influencer from Cork anyway. And a hairdresser, as I went to before, they told me that she said something, I can't remember what she said. She said something around the lines of like, oh, I just promote stuff that I don't even like and I get paid for it. It's unreal. And it's like, do you know that the people following you actually like you and they respect you and they think that you care about them, but you're just using them as money? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot to it that people, and do you know what? This episode now, it's extremely educational and interesting. You know what I mean? Like there's so much stuff from racism now that's completely educational, but like the interesting side of it was like the social media and stuff like that. There was stuff there that's given me a lot of food for thought. And with the racism too, like there's stuff that I didn't understand, because there's some videos on social media and it'd be it'd be African American women, they'd be shouting like about white people for not understanding, you know what I mean? And then that'd make you feel a bit, you wouldn't want to ask questions, you know what I mean? But I know a lot of people have gotten a lot of education off this, and it's really beneficial because, like I just said, like I was called, my nephew's half caste, and I didn't know where that originated from. And it was actually, like you said, there was half, what was it again, half whole and half not.
Half pure, yeah.
Like, that's heartbreaking. And I think, like, Jade talking about it, and the more people talk about it, I just hope it'll be something that's just taught in school, that people just know that it's just a known thing, you know what I mean? Because it isn't, and it's so wrong, like. But Jade, what is it?
One thing I never got to bring up as well, and I wish I got, like, I'll try and run through it really quickly, but
of course,
like, racism is not just people who hate Black people. There's so much more, and there's a lot of Black people who are very racist towards other races as well. And within their own community called colorism, where there's just a hatred and a discrimination towards people who are either darker or lighter. Like, there's this whole thing actually called light skin versus dark skin, and basically it's where there's an argument of people saying like, dark skins are better, light skins are better, and they're like arguing each other. Like, there's an actual fight there.
I've seen that before, actually.
But like, the thing as well is that's really annoying for me, because I am mixed race, is that I was never allowed to be included or have my say because I'm not fully Black. And it's like, there was a lot of colorism towards me because I was mixed race, and they were like, oh, but all the Black lads like you, and they don't like these other girls, and like, you know, they're blaming on me. And then they have the stereotype on mixed race girls that are prestige, look better than everyone around them, thinking that they're too good for people, and just these like stereotypes that they put on them. Now, there are some people obviously that will be like that, but that's not a majority case. The same way as like there will be Black people who will rob and stuff, but that's not a majority case. Same way there's white people that will rob and kill. That's not a majority. It's literally like, it's just really annoying because, like, I don't understand why there's hatred in the own community when you already get hate from outside of it. And it's just things that's not talked about because people don't want to talk about it. But it happens. There's a lot of this colorism towards dark-skinned women particularly as well, because they're deemed as, like, monkeys or animals and things because they're darker-skinned women, and it's, like, disgusting. And it's really horrible.
Like, the only thing I can think of like, like Jade's talking about colorism there. The point that I don't, like, I didn't even really know that was a thing, is the only thing I can think about that like separates, like, would be posh and not posh. That's all. That, you know, like, there'd be a little divide with that. Like, that's all I would have known about. Like, do you know, I'd have some family go, oh, they're posh. Do you know? But I can't imagine. Like, I just can't imagine that. Like, we're all supposed to be together, and that's even adding more to it. You know what I mean? I knew about the light skin, dark skin thing, but I thought it was more of a, like, I don't know, just fellas talked about on TikTok, like, oh, which one do you prefer, in a stupid way. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, shut up. But I didn't think much of it. I didn't know it's a whole thing. I'm actually going to have to look that up now afterwards.
Yeah, it's a huge thing, actually.
Jeez. And come here, Jade. I'm so happy you came on. I feel so educated now, like, do you know what I mean? I feel like I had a day in college. I was going to say to you, did you enjoy coming on the podcast, and would you recommend it to other people?
Yeah, definitely. I had a great time. It's actually lovely. My first podcast. I'm so happy I was on it. Thank you so much for having me.
And do you know, I think, was it your mom who walked into your room as well?
Yeah.
And it was my mom who came into my room.
There you go.
Come here, so we wrap it up there now, lads. And I want to say to everybody, thank you so much for listening. It means so much to us. And as well, I always forget to say it, our Patreon is going to be linked in the bio.
Yeah.
Help us out, because we're actually getting an editor now.
Yeah.
It's all getting leveled up now. Yeah. And that's not including our sponsorship that's coming out of our own pockets, have editor and for sound and everything. So Patreon be a bit handy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like, subscribe, leave a comment, do your thing, like, just support us, like.
Yeah, thanks. And we appreciate you. All right, guys, thanks for watching.